Oh, I did it.
I'll figure that out.
I promise tonight I'm not going to speak out.
It's funny.
I'm not. It's all silly. Let's do my best. How about that? That sounds good.
Very good. All right, we will call the regular board of ed meeting for September order at 7:02.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a 1B introductions. This is nice, Shannon. Thank you. I was I'm Chris Champagne, board chair. We'll go down this way.
Kristen Bruno, vice chair. Maureen Escalade, board member.
Stefan Buniak, board secretary.
Ed Stumel, board member. James Garofalo, board member.
Kristen Harmon, board member. Compton superintendent.
Okay, so item 2, as you can see, Shannon is sitting over there. Shannon resigned last month, taking the position as executive administrative assistant, is that the title? To the superintendent. So we are going to make that official tonight. Have a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Shannon Levy as Board of Education member, and this was effective August 26th.
Yes, second. Motion by Kristen, second by Stefan. Any discussion? Thank you for your service, Shannon. If nothing else, all those in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 7-0-0. Okay, well, when we have an opening, we have item 2B.
I'd like to make a motion to fill the vacancy on the Seymour Board of Education with Mr. Peter Hudak to serve the remainder of Shannon's term effective immediately.
Second.
Motion by Jim, any other discussion?
Other than the fact that I said your name wrong, Peter, or something.
All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 7-0. I believe, Mr. Stanek, you are here to swear Peter in.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pete, if you would stand, please. It is my honor to swear you in, Peter Kubik, as a member of the Seymour Board of Education. Having served with you two times before that you were a member of this board, it's an honor to swear you in. You would raise your right hand. Do you, Peter Kubik, solemnly swear that you will faithfully fulfill your duties as a member of the Seymour Board of Education, so help you God?
Thank you.
Congratulations. And I pronounced that Pete has a new name, 3P. 3P. Third time sitting in the Board of Education. He was taking an expression from sports.
Okay, last but not least, we have item 2C, which is to appoint a new board clerk.
motion to appoint Shannon Levy as the Seymour Board of Education clerk effective immediately.
Motion by Stefan, second by Kristen. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0-0. Okay, moving on, item 3, we have one recognition. I don't see him here, but if you want to talk about
He has 2 meetings tonight, he could not make this meeting tonight, so plans to come in October. So this was because during the public, with recognition, he was recognized once and about receiving a plaque, and we have a nice plaque for him, so he's gonna come back and
Okay, item 4, public comment. Anyone from the public like to make a comment? Comment going twice.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I would like to congratulate Shannon Levy, being appointed the Executive Administrative Assistant to the Superintendent. We should nominate Administrative Assistant. I think her experience as a member of this board is going to assist this board as well as the entire school district. And once again, I'd like to congratulate Peter Kubik. Great choice. Great choice. Having sat with Peter in the past, and he's been a member of every building committee, school building committee since the early 90s. He is an expert on school buildings. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Any others for public comment? Second call, public comment. Last call, public comment. Public comment is closed.
I'd like to make a motion to remove item B from the consent agenda. And then I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through D.
I'll second.
Motion by Kristen, second by Ed. Any discussion? Alright, hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? 7-0-1. Item 6. Michael Briggs Memorial.
Yes, thank you. The reason I wanted to remove this from the consent agenda was just to give us an opportunity to publicly acknowledge Michael Briggs as a graduate of Seymour High School, a longtime Pop Warner football coach. He coached my children, and the absolute consummate Wildcat football fan. He was at games, whether his children were in Seymour schools, graduated from Seymour schools, and many people have referred to him as being larger than life, and he certainly was, and I think this community will miss him dearly. And I also want to recognize Ms. Deb Tucker and Janice Keough for making the donation of the memorial bench, and grateful to the superintendent supporting that donation and finding a great place for it on the football field, which Mike so very much loved. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the donation for the Michael Briggs Memorial Bench.
Motion by Kristen, do we have a second? Second by Kristen. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions, 8-0-0. Okay, item 7, reports, school safety report, Mr. Henry.
Good evening. My name is Ed Henry, Director of Security, Seymour School District, for the record. It being the beginning of the year, my report will be kind of short, but I wanted to bring you up to date on where we are. We currently, as you know, we're given permission to hire an armed security officer at the high school. That process has started, and we have moved through picking a candidate, Mr. Mike Rogers, you'll hear his name tonight. He's a retired NYPD detective, lives in Woodbury, and he has children at Manawak High School. So he's local, and his wife has shown connection. So he's a good fit, and he's been working out so far. So far at the beginning of the year, myself, Kevin Pittinelli, Ron Barnard, and Mike have attended our yearly mandated training at the post at the Police Academy in Meriden. That was is an 8-hour class that's mandated for anyone working as an armed guard in any of the schools in the state of Connecticut. We're all working through our mandated child trafficking training that is given by Department of Children and Families, and also the mandated reporter training. Currently are also in touch with Chief Woodbride from Seymour, and shoring up our emergency plans, which are going to be submitted to the state and Homeland Security on November 1st. Those need to be updated every year, and the 1st is when we have to do that. If we end up with whatever Bungay School ends up being, whether it being a new school or whether it be an addition onto the school, we'll have to create all new plans for that area and submit those probably next year. Yes. Other than that, that's the state of the union and the security of the school.
We will also have on our next month's agenda in regards to the MOA agreement between the chief of police and the school system for the school resource officers, which the town graciously pays for and takes care of. So chief always does a great job with that, so we'll be renewing that.
Any questions for Mr. Henry? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item 7, Bungay Building Committee. I see Mr. Stanek here, I see Mr. Schnell here, who wants to take the ball.
Mr. Chairman.
Actually, Mr. Kubik is also a member of the committee, so I can share this with you.
All three of you.
I'd like to pass out a pre-referendum schedule that's been developed by the architects that we presently on board. And again, Mr. Snow and Mr. Kubik can join in with me. The Bungay Elementary School Building Committee was appointed by the Board of Select Persons earlier this year. They first met on January 25th of this year, for which time the officers were elected. The members of the committee are Rebecca Bennett, Tim Connors, Tricia Baker, Peter Kubik, Beth Muscadab, Dr. Thomas Nobley, Henry North, Mr. Schneller, and myself. The committee has solicited RFPs from architects to develop plans to come up with preliminary plans for either a new school, a renovated new school, or an extended renovation of the expanded school, excuse me. It's not our intent to build a new school, but the architect that we have on board at this time has said that we should compare the cost of renovation with the new school, because with the renovation, we may have to purchase or rent portables to displace students, to move students that are displaced during the construction period. So we compare the cost. We have hired Antonasi Associates in preliminary work for this school some 10+ years ago, actually started in 2008, and we brought them on board to take us through the referendum process. Assuming the referendum passes, we will need to hire an architect for the final building of the school and the expansion. We met with 2 of the representatives and Antonasi Associates on August 27th and August 29th. And Mrs. Reed, principal of Bungay School, met with architects also with regards to education specifications. So we're going forward, we've passed out a pre-referendum schedule as in terms of planning for a referendum. The schedule first called for a referendum at the end of March. The committee decided to instruct the associates that would like to try to move the referendum into February, subject to approval by the Board of Select Persons, because at the end of March, we're talking about mill rate try to stay away from talking about no rate increase at the time of referendum. That would be up to the board of selectors. In the meantime, you can see the plan that's going on. There will be some public information sessions beginning as early as October to alert the public to what we're doing at the school. And then there will be a push in January and February with presentations to groups as well as door-to-door solicitation of support by board members, committee members. We ask the Board of Education to join us, take an active role in trying to promote the referendum when it comes to date. I should mention that the town of Seymour Board of Select Persons has negotiated the purchase of an adjoining parcel of land that will be used for potential bus ingress and egress, separate from the present ingress and egress of Columbia School. We're optimistic that will close soon. We'll have more to report about that in the future.
Could you say that portion again, Mr. Bennett?
The Board of Select Persons is in negotiations to purchase a portion of adjoining land from adjoining property
Okay.
that will be used for ingress and egress of bus traffic to the school.
Okay, great, thank you. At the current public school
At
location.
the current location. Now, I mentioned the possibility of a new school. The architect has talked about the possibility of a new school in the field. It's just conceptual.
Yeah.
It's just conceptual.
Yeah.
But it's been explained to us that at times it's less expensive to build a new building than to renovate and expand an older building. A new school would be smaller than the present school because you've got 1950 size classrooms. Classrooms are not as large as actual space is not as large as today. So
We feel that the new school, that if we did a new school, it would be
it
smaller?
would be smaller than the present building.
Overall square footage would be smaller. I didn't get that. I knew the rooms had to be a little bit smaller,
The
right?
rooms would be smaller.
Depending upon what the educational needs were, there might be some additional
There might be
rooms
If
that
you were to take the present school education program, it would be a small building.
I think that confuses me. I think in regards to education specifications, Mrs. Reed, Mrs. Feige is present, and myself, and we talked to the two architects, just in regards about the building needs. Schools have changed since Bungie has revolved since 1956. There's more need to have special ed, small resource rooms. There's a need to have a nurse's office that matches like what our other three schools have, where you have the kids are separated from the nurse, and they have privacy, she has privacy. Right now, Bungie is all open. Also, the need for possibly STEM innovative lab. So when you talk about square footage of the classrooms, they might be smaller, the educational needs might be greater regardless. That could be. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Each sharing what they've done with other places, the examples that he gave me. Norwalk was Cranberry Elementary, which was a brand new school, but Jefferson Elementary was a school that was totally renovated and added on. So those were two examples, and then another one was Washington Elementary in West Haven. So as is explained, there's lots of possibilities. I think this farm is great. They're going to be actually meeting with Bungie Elementary staff, where they will have an opportunity to give input. This is going to be September the 16th, starting at 8 o'clock, so that teacher leaders, people can have an opportunity to give feedback. I won't be present that day, I need to be, this is strictly for the principal and the staff to give input. And I thought that was really just wonderful, because the stakeholders need to be involved, as you know. So I think it's really, like I said, they're a great firm. I went and looked at these schools, I was very impressed with what they've done. Sorry to interrupt, but this was just an added addition. Like I said, we had a great meeting on August 3rd. We just said, come, we just want to start input on what would you see from an educational perspective as far as curriculum needs. Mrs. Reed did a good job. Mrs. Mrs. Spivey and I gave some insight as well.
The state reimbursement will be dependent upon exactly what we're going to do. It will be, it's our optimistic hope that the reimbursement will be as high as 66%.
Just to add something to that, Fred, if you don't mind. It's important that that message gets out on the reimbursement rate, because when you go to referendum, you have to go to referendum for the full amount. And a lot of people are fooled because the number's going to be high, but there will be reimbursement. And the reimbursement rate will be set by the state. It will also be adjusted based on the needs of the school. So for instance, if you wanted to triple the size of the gym, they would say that's not adequate, and that doesn't make sense for the number of students there. So we'll pay for X number of square feet, but we're not going to reimburse for the other balance of the square feet. So that's why sometimes the percentage varies off of the state percentage. And if you were adding other things that they might not feel is reimbursable, it's usually based on the student population, then we would reimbursement rate would drop a little just because that part wouldn't be reimbursed. But it's important to get that out because everybody's going to see the big number. It's never going to be the big number.
I just wanted to ask, from what I understand, they are offering increased reimbursement rates for projects that include preschool spaces. Is that correct?
We have not had that discussion yet.
That's something I had heard, and knowing that we've moved the preschool over there.
Yeah,
it's a
we
great
surely want to
opportunity.
take full advantage of what, the majority, whatever, the maximum reimbursement possible.
It is, I had a little small discussion about that. That was part of the reason for the still over there, because the enrollment here was 590, Bundy was only 460, and I had to get the preschool to justify the increase in enrollment. I do think we'll get.
And what I noticed is different than there, there's talk about us having 2 floors, where only have 1 floor now. So that may be where it could be deemed to be a little bit small, because you have 2 floors.
So the footprint,
Yeah.
just a conceptual design that we want the very first meeting showed if it was new, it would be 2 floors out in the field area.
I have a question about the develop educational specs with the Board of Ed. Is that us as a Board of Ed, or is that administration as a Board of Ed? Because those terms tend to be used synonymously.
I think it's for us to get feedback from the administration and then go to the next level to share with that.
I would suggest that we have to be aligned as a board before we start doing community workshops. And one of the things I'm a little bit worried about is that we have not talked through the idea of do we want our elementary schools to be equally sized in terms of student enrollment, which would require some redistricting between the two. Do we want to talk about K through 2 school and 3 through 5 school, which opens up a whole other host of educational needs? Yes, I totally agree. We should have a STEM lab, we should have a science lab. But if we do K through 5, both elementary schools, that's a whole inequity issue, because if there's an element at Capitol, won't have those things. So those are really critical decisions that need to be made before anybody can accept and decide on what the plan, what the school will look like. So yes, starting with stakeholders first, but I just feel like we haven't made or had conversations about some really critical things that would impact the design of the building.
I don't want to speak out of turn, that's a whole different kind of discussion. One thing I can tell you is that kindergarten classes now are equal with Bundy and Chapel for the first time. Last year was behind, this year they come up, and we got the same number of kindergarten for Bundy and Chapel was very different. So I'm seeing the demographics of Bundy is going to come back up. Chatfield started really expanding enrollment by that COVID and real estate, and a lot of people were buying houses and interest there's ways which won't, no matter whatever the company is, but the only reason I mentioned the innovative lab, that's very, hard, even just been running through third grade, second grade, no matter what. You have innovative labs in the world way of anyway.
Yes, totally hear that, but it's just we have that in public school and not at Chapel West People, so.
The committee has discussed that issue, and what we do, folks, with education, to help people with issues that may come up, such as innovative labs. It's the intention that the design will include innovative lab that funding, and I can see the space where that could be used for innovative lab. But that's up to you folks to allocate.
Right. Completely agree, that's why I'm kind of, you know, directing my comments to Karen, that was on the agenda and was in.
So there's just dots, not really dates. Can you possibly send information back to Tom, and she can sort of disseminate it to us, and then we can get an idea of what's on the table, and possibly bring this up in October, because it looks like after that, we're going to start reviewing more of the design. And I think if there was a decision that needs to be made from us, we want to do it before the process.
There is a schedule and process for the Board of Education has to approve plans and so on. But we not quite once a month, we are going to start in 2 weeks, starting in October.
Not that I'm excited about adding another September calendar, but I think our October meeting is too late.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. I wouldn't want us to be the stopgap on the decision.
What was your next? The next meeting is September 21st, Tuesday. That will be a central office.
Is there any? And then is that next dot shortly after the public workshop?
Those dates are not settled. We're going to talk about that with the architect of these numbers on the 24th.
Keep in mind, too, that the design will be very fluid, I won't say right to the point of referendum. There's going to be a lot of different variations. There's going to be, once they start to price it out, and it's not too high, and adjustments are going to have to be made. So it is going to be very fluid throughout the process. I don't think they're going to have anything box out. For sure, we're going to be close to box out before,
The process right now is feasibility study by the architect to come up with development plans that are conceptual, not defined plans. These plans will give us price estimates so that we can go to referendum. They will be up to the board of select persons to set the referendum and decide whether or not the board wants to go forward with X referendum.
yes. So that's when then the architect will finalize on that. And that's when the details are really, where the details of the classrooms, what goes in. This is just very conceptual. It's just not time or money. You just need to get an idea of, what it's going to cost, so we can get the referendum out of it. Then we'll get the plans, then we'll see how that coincides with referencing the referendum is approved. Now, if we've got a design, it's $10 million over the referendum, we have it. That's kind of.
Did not realize that Chatfield was designed renovation and addition, and you actually have an innovative lab, it's all the media center here, which is a nice classroom. And this is not the time to discuss, but there's a lot of advantages, disadvantages, and going to pay two, and trust me, this situation, this renovation for the school is critical, and we can discuss private also in the open development, pluses and minuses, but I just think, I want to say thank you for all the work that's been involved in this movement and ongoing.
incorporate some of the concepts in the nature and with the other program that the architects want to our commissions as well. We try to address the social and emotional aspects of the children and to try to make setting the school more suitably and sensitive for the children. For example, the use of the LED screen with a fish tank on the wall, to try to see waterfalls, extrapolate, this is some of the concepts, nature uses that infrastructure, or nature also the concept of coaches, and this possibility also opportunity for professional development session with the teaching staff of the two elementary schools to talk about nature coaching. It's not help, but they are very enthusiastic about trying to push some of these concepts.
So, next meeting is September 24th. Any other questions?
And of course, that Mr. Chanel was the director of keeping informed of some of that. We'll be talking.
I think we can either have you come back on that one, or you want to do something.
Thank you very much.
Item 7C, the Finance Committee report. I think we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We had our finance meeting, Mr. Fuji showed us the final line from 23-24, the proposed line for 24-25, and then the amount which I have, we'll talk about that later too, the surplus account. So that'll, I think that's the first sentence. Item 7D, policy committee. Also, I don't know, Ed, if you wanted to say anything about that, we do have 3 policies.
Right, I think that's, it would be self-explanatory to that we're proposing the new policy.
Anyone have any questions on the reports? All right. Item 8A, DOE surplus funds. So last year, we have the surplus, keep count, it's 152,598. So tonight, we need to make a decision on what to do with that. That is our decision, but Dr. Compton, do you have a suggestion?
Yes, I would just like to say my opinion. It's a surplus, something that is needed. We got the report from the turf field. Sean Stranell was involved with that. The town administration enough to receive it from Tim Ponders. I actually sent it to you also for a bit. It's so much you may not remember. But I'll send it again. Just think about it. This is something, to the first level mature as well. This is something that the turf field, every 10 years is usually the line. This field's going to make it a little bit longer. I wasn't here when that turf field was done, but it's about 2 years ago. And there's starting to be grass growing up around the sides. The worst thing I see is the track needs to have some repairs. But this seems like it's going to be able to make it 3 more years. There's a fund that also town, I think they've got to set aside, it's 250,000. Burt Miller put that in an email, he did share. I think that this money ought to go towards the turf field. At this point, when you look at what is going to be the cost to replace the new one, it's a year bid on $700,000, whatever. But it won't have to do as much, so I can't give you Like anything else, there's advantages and disadvantages, we have terms and we don't. But I know that we can always use money for other things, but actually the money goes back to the town, unless you get it back to the town. I wouldn't recommend doing that right now, I think it's really hard to do. But once it's into the town, and whatever, I think about the earmark back. That's not opinion, because the town's already made a contribution. And I think maybe there was a commitment at one point, and I know it's Mel's mentioned this to me every year I've been here about the term set aside. Mr. Stanley said it as well. That was supposed to be a fun ongoing. Well, you know what? The town didn't do anything, Board of Ed didn't do anything, and here we are. So, you know, put 50,000 here and 50,000 there from each, and make a contribution ongoing, have that money allocated for that specific fund. I'm going to be quiet now, it's not my decision, but I just think this is a way, like, where the money will go and help, and the town's in favor of this too. This is one thing that I do agree on. As far as, that's just not.
Any thoughts?
It is an extremely difficult choice to have to say, let's make a contribution to something that we know we have to do in the future, but our current needs for our facilities are so great. And as we all know, every year we shortchange the facilities line item in the budget because most of the items are not direct educational services, and that's where our priorities rightly always are. But the state of some of the portions of our schools, for example, the middle school floor, they're almost hitting the point where they're embarrassing. And we have shortchanged, again, all of the facility line item budgets in the past 5 or more years. And so I'm very much in favor for going to the Board of Finance and asking them to make that contingency account and using that money this year to do some of the critical repairs that have been taken down the road because of necessity on our budgets.
And you're not referring to gym floor,
You're talking about the
regular
tiles,
hallway.
white tiles.
White tiles, that our staff did an amazing job of between August and the opening of school, when we saw one meeting to the next, but the floors they're just atrocious.
You need some repair there later on too, there's also the, like you said, that's facilities, and that's working with the town, and seeing what we've got, what we haven't done. I think with what we've had, we've done a pretty good job with what we've had. Tim Connors has been on it, he's really tried, and the custodians have been making it. There are a lot of needs right there, but I just, if there's a need there for that turf, that money's got to come from somewhere. Somebody will go make a $800,000 donation, very likely, because it's right.
Do something with it. Would anyone like to make the motion? Questions?
I'm going to make a motion to appear before the Board of Finance and ask them to allow us to create a state-permitted contingency fund for school districts and to use that money towards repairs that have been pushed off due to budget constraints.
Motion on the floor, just, second.
I'll second it just for the sake of discussion.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any other discussion?
I think we need to have some money for the field too. So I don't know if we can buy it up.
So just to do that amount, 152,598 is the surplus.
Do we have any sort of objective report or measurement of what, in terms of our facilities, and I'll include outdoor, like field, track, and inside, what is in the worst state? 'Cause I'm sure we all have opinions that are probably different to some degree, but is there any, does our facilities director have an opinion, unfortunately, he's not here tonight, or any sort of data?
Does it have to be a question?
Tell you the data that, like I said, they have patched roof, it's not falling in or anything like that. It was leaking before I got here in 2021, and it leaked another 2 years. It's not drastic, but that is something that you're talking $1 million program. So the other thing, you got to turf field too, folks. I mean, 3 years from now, something has to give. This is an opportunity to let the town hopefully continue to put in that.
I'm going to look through the turf field. That is something that the Board of Education never asked for, never voted on. And so while maybe we have saved on maintenance of a regular turf field, I mean, our practice as a town and as a school district is that the town takes care of fields, and the Board of Ed takes care of buildings and immediate surrounding areas of the buildings. So I feel very mixed on the turf field because it's nothing that we ever asked for as Board of Ed. I mean, we don't put aside money to take care of the softball fields at our high schools, and so I'm not seeing why this is any different.
So do you have a motion? Any question?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think that if anyone has available the budget background information, I do believe Mr. Connors listed priorities in that document.
I have those things.
Yeah,
Since I stepped down.
my concern here is, and I agree that the middle school floor is an issue. I'm not sure any of us are in these buildings enough to know exactly what the number one issue is. So I wouldn't necessarily be comfortable earmarking this money for any one specific facilities related issue if I don't have the data to say which is the most pressing. My personal, I'm sure we all have personal opinion. My personal opinion is that our track is atrocious. But I don't, I'm not in this building very often. I'm not in the very often. I'm in high school a little, I'm in middle school a little, but not anywhere near enough to know, or hardly any of our board members are enough to know what the greatest need is of many needs. So
Track.
I don't know how we can make a good decision.
There's a mention about the track, and get into a lot of building issue. Track. Oh, no.
I walked it Saturday.
Thank you, yeah, that's what I saw, so there's at least 2 or 3 places of deterioration.
Especially if you're running, I allowed you running days.
And I've noticed now that when I go to other schools, they have some sort of map or rug or not coding, something they roll out so that when the football team, the soccer team crosses that track, they're not, because if you look on the far side, it's all dug up in that one area where they come up before games.
Yeah, they used to put something across at least by the field house. But I think they all exit out like that to right to the locker room. They don't have to have it here. That might need one there too or something. I'm kind of with this stuff on too, in regards to that. I don't see anything wrong with updating the schools, but I think we need to see what the schools need, how much was the tally on that. Right, so that we can make an informed decision on where the money should go to that or to the, to the under track. Because with regards to the track, something's got to happen. Right? It's going to be really falling apart at the seams. In 3 years, they're going to say we don't have a track and a football field we can use.
Well, we did have some problems with the track equipment.
Well, we
didn't
got
have
it.
home events for years.
I know that we got equipment, Stefan removes bushels, because
be short-term mitigation, you need a long-term mitigation. Actually, the box of Band-Aids is in your stuff.
And the tiling, that's something that really costs as far as Connors to give us an estimate on middle school hours.
There's been an issue since day one, and it wasn't properly done right, the moisture's coming up through the concrete. That's been since the first year this school was built, there's been problems. I don't know what there was at one point, we brought somebody in for some solutions, and they were very, the cost was astronomical.
I can tell you that our guys have done some great work with the tiles, the rooms, and everything. They told it was a tile room, so I know they can take care of the issues.
Question, is there a drop dead date with respect to the
That's what I
road?
was about to ask Mr. Pucci. Pucci, is there a time?
I'm sorry?
Statutory.
Is there a timeline for when this decision has to be made by?
Not to my knowledge.
No.
I think the person who might be best to answer that question would be Mr. Stanek. But I don't, I'm not aware of a timeline.
With that in mind, I think maybe it's prudent to table this. And my ask would be that we had Mr. Connors provide us with an updated list of, at the very least, what he feels are the highest needs in terms of our facilities. Because I think that would be a lot more valuable than us debating our personal preferences, however valid they are. And I don't mean this as like I disagree with you.
Oh,
because I don't disagree with you.
Totally fine.
Maybe with the rock costs, tied to each.
Yeah, if we had some sort of swag at how much it costs and you know, what, we need a little bit more to make an educated decision.
I think the dollars attached to the repairs and stuff would help me get.
I think honing in on facilities is wise, but that's a broad bucket.
So we have
I'm
a
happy with
motion.
raw motion.
Well, we brought us
So if that is, like,
a
do.
motion.
Would you like to make that motion?
I move that we table discussion and further action on the surplus of $152,598 till such time as we invite Mr. Connors to come and do a presentation for us and provide us with priority list items that we feel need to be addressed.
With the wrong, with the wrong cost.
Wrong cost.
Rough order back.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep.
I'm making a note of that. Rough order magnitude.
We have a motion to table by Jim, second by Stefan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 0. Yes? Okay. So the motion table passes 8-0-0. I assume you'll do that for October, Dr. Compton?
Yes, and we'll have all the term costs when you see the report as well as track, and then the repairs of the roof, and just this whole capital outlay, okay?
Item 8B is the financial line item application for 23-24.
Is that in the folder, Shannon? I didn't see it in the board packet folder on the Google Drive. It's part of the summary.
It's part of, it's all put in a financial management summary that includes the summary and the other two updated, it's all in there, it's all in one. And it's also in the fund as well.
Tell me what
Okay, we have extra from the finance committee, yes.
I have a second one that's passed the, I think we're kind of a couple of.
It's all a part of it.
No, I just had the, yeah, that's the one.
Okay,
You
that,
don't have another copy, do you? I just have the digital copy.
I have several copies, there's at least 4 that's given to you, that's in the packets that we made for the finance committee.
how we got to the 152, the surplus for 23-24. I don't know, Sal, if you want to
Kevin, you want to
summarize.
sum this up real fast? Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so you're talking 23, 24?
Yes.
Okay, 23, 24, this is really just the final outcome. All of these new classes that are on here are consistent with what's been being reported month after month to the Finance Committee in terms of areas in which we have had surpluses largely relating to, for instance, the certified staff, the difficulty in filling certain positions. But again, the biggest benefit that came out of last year, which generated some surplus, was the fact that we had a very positive variance in pension. And I discussed that in the Finance Committee, in which we saved $140,000 on our gas costs because of a drop of about 34 cents in the price of a cubic foot of gas. The other items are essentially moving line items around, for instance, special ed instructional paraprofessionals. If you look at that, we had a very difficult time hiring full-time staff to fill those roles. We had some positive variances in, for instance, health insurance. That's a function of just changes in personnel and changes in their election options as it relates to their insurance. There really is, nothing on here that is, I would say, unusual or out of the ordinary in terms of what happens during the normal course of the year. We make our best effort when, for instance, we propose an allocation at the beginning of the year. That is really a snapshot of where you are at that point in time and where you think you're going to go based on the staff you have and the expenditures you're incurring. And as we go through the year, we adjust accordingly. So I would say again, it's largely focused on energy. The other positive thing that came out last year was the fact that we did get a substantial increase in our special education excess cost grant proceeds. It was inconsistent with the precipitous drop we had the prior year, and so we didn't budget for a windfall, and we received not a windfall, but we received what we were really truly entitled to based on what the state had been projecting. It was just in 22-23, the haircut of everybody at the end, we came up tremendously short, and no one really knew what the future was going to be. So it was a good year for the special education grant that we received against the proceeds, and that generated actually a slight surplus for us last year, even though our costs were up almost $300,000 or $400,000. So, I would say that, again, a lot of this just comes from things that we've been doing for the last 3 years, with these purchase orders, controlling costs, trying to eliminate any redundancies, monitoring our energy costs on a monthly basis, and being able to utilize the funds to do things in the district that were sorely needed to be done. At the end of the day, just chose not to say, well, gee, there's $152,000 surplus, and let's just go and blow it. My department, my job here is to do the best fiscal management we can, and then bring in results of that, and this time the results were good.
Any questions? And just so you know, nothing, you hit the nail on the head. There's always fluctuation, not everything through the penny. But that's why we started this process, I believe, when it got here, doing the line item allocation so we have an idea of how those accounts are progressing through the year. This is just.
And if I might comment on that point, when we do the budget, it's back in January. We're projecting the following year. And Dr. Hunter will certainly attest to a lot has happened since January. And so every time these things happen, staff turnover, people coming, people going, changes here, there, new initiatives, new mandates, everything else. We compile all those changes, and now we get to this point in the year, school starting. We give you our best estimate of where we think we should start the year. And then over the course of the next 10 months, all kinds of things will happen that we didn't anticipate or project. And we'll be back in the same place again next year, I'm sure. Maybe not these same line items, but we do our best to work within our budget, utilize the surpluses where we have them,
to offset the deficits where we have them. And fortunately, this year, our surpluses exceeded our deficits, and we were fortunate enough to have a surplus.
And also, as soon as we wrap this up, this meeting, we're going to start the budget process for next year. Behind, we're going to start immediately and by October.
Which, by the way, the basis of which is going to be the budget we are looking at today for 24-25.
Yeah, so
So we need to action
item B is
on
like to close out and
Yes.
approving that, and then, you know, what's left is that surplus, we're gonna take action on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the final line item Seymour Board of Education allocation for the year 2023, 2024.
Kristen, second by Jim. Any other questions or discussion?
A quick question for consideration, nothing like is a walkway to do, but I think it would be really helpful for us and also for the public to understand what we spent money on when we moved it into the line item, right? So we all kind of can make informed assumptions when we see that something came out of a line item, just simply cost less, or there was, we got more money for special education cost grant. But when people see something like adding $114,000 to student support services, I think it's a logical question to ask, well, gosh, what did we get for that? Same with something with facilities, where we have a lot of money that was moved out of other line items. So maybe, Chris, if we could communicate through you and say, gee, I'd love to understand this line item, we could think about putting a request into Mr. Bucci and Dr. Compton to understand what that, not a fluctuation, what the change was and what the community got from it.
We can roll it to show all of that.
Well, we can go through and identify them.
So
This
generally,
is something that I
General
do in the normal course of the year, in terms of discussing variances on any particular monthly report. I generally will comment on why some category might have gone up or some category might have gone down. And again, when you're talking personnel, it's largely a result of positions that make up the entirety of our personnel as we plan, and then our ability to fill those positions. And sometimes we're incurring expenditures outside in purchased services that are outside of the salaries because we can't fill the positions with
Yeah,
staff.
that's what,
Exactly.
that's what you like to see.
You know, I don't know
We'll
if you
work
wanted
on,
to include, I know you do that for the most part in the narrative for the finance committee.
It's great year-end summary.
Yeah.
Company does.
Yeah.
summary of what some of these expenses were.
I mean, the big, yeah, I don't think anybody cares about $500 here or there, but like
Just
the big ticket items, which is partially in the narrative as well, but.
That was somewhat addressed when I delivered the preliminary report that projected the surplus, was in that finance committee report. That was my June report.
Right.
This really is not much different because I had projected at that time the surplus was going to be about 157. It turned out to be 152 change. It's changed roughly $4,000 or $900. There wasn't much. That kind of money, there's nothing that much that changed in these categories. From one category to another, I had a $150,000 swing since I delivered this report back in August. So I would say, I'm happy to give you whatever information you want because it's all there. Again, it's largely the result of the changes we've dealt with. And throughout the course of the year, the focus is on making sure that just because we had a deficit here, doesn't mean that somehow it translates into an overall deficit at the end of the year. We work very diligently to stay within the appropriation that the voters have approved.
I just think showcasing some of the big line items at the cost, that's all.
I'm happy to.
We're on to that. That agrees.
All right, anything else for the final item? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0. And then next
I did find, Shannon, the 2023.
Yeah, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see the right-hand column is blue.
Oh,
Here's all of this. It's very
Great, great.
24, 25.
Got it.
So I
It's a
think,
lot. Each year.
just like I had mentioned to you, the biggest thing that pops out in my eyes was the teachers, the decrease in the teachers, but I think that was a shift.
Well, because we moved to student support services,
Exactly.
there are certain positions that are properly classified.
We've done that for years, we've been trying to make things clearer, putting,
I think I
Right,
finally
yeah.
figured it all
It's
out.
all
To be honest with you, no, to be honest with you, you would have in this school, a school psychologist sitting into the regular teacher area, or in this school, you have the person down in student support services, and we've been scrubbing this for quite some time now, trying to make everything pari passu across the various schools, so that when I'm giving you a report on a vacancy, for instance, it's going to be because of a specific vacancy in that position as it relates to that particular certified staff line item. It doesn't affect much below the line in the non-certified area. It's really within the teaching, and also to make sure that the special education personnel are properly classified in the special education category, because it affects various things. It affects the amount of money you will receive in your IDEA grants, which is a grant that augments your special education costs within the district. It also affects what you're going to be able to apply for in your special education excess cost grant. So when you really need to figure out your special education costs versus your general education costs, regular education that we call it. And over the years, we've really worked hard to make sure we have the people in proper categories, because it increases our ability to get
More
more
grants.
funding.
You just
More
got to
grants.
flat out separate it, folks. You've got your general versus your special ed.
We finally, I
And a big
I'm
percentage of
very
something else.
comfortable with the fact that we have, not only in this area, but in all these other areas. You may recall when I first came here, things were all over the place. And we broke out supplies, we broke out an energy category, we made a facilities category, we took out district special education, made its own category, put in district costs together, so that it would be a clearer picture, more clarity for this board to be able to look and see what the actual costs are within the district for these various areas of education. And I would say that now, with this budget, and certainly with the one we're going to be working on the next budget, which will be an upgrowth of this, I really feel that we now, for instance, you're only seeing a $17,000, $18,000 swing in the entire category of certified staff, but it's just getting people where they should be in the categories.
The major increase in personnel is basically insurance premiums. So people are taking.
Anyone have any questions for Sal about the 24-25 allocation?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed line item Seymour Board of Education budget allocation for fiscal year 2024-25.
Now. None, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 800. Thank you, Mr. Rucci.
Thank you.
Item D, we have the diversity and equity plan revisions that we need to adopt. I don't know, Dr. Compton, if you wanted to say a few words about that.
I just want, Mrs. Feige can as well, they're very clarified. D is the diversity plan. We just need for your approval to adopt the guides that were probably around 5 in the full state in the first round that were ever approved. In general, ours was approved, but with condition, and that was the majority of school districts. What it is, wanting us to really show a path of improvement and resources, and you gotta be careful, because what you put in the plan, you gotta live by. So you gotta be careful how it's worded, how it's stated. So ours is revised, we feel like it's good, it was good input from the committee, Mr. Lord was on it, Mr. Feige was on it, Mr. Pelosi was on it, I added some input. We actually talked with the state consultant that was over it. We had a nice conversation on speakerphone as well. We've done more recruitment in hiring minorities, at least several this year. And so we're going to go ahead and submit this, and hopefully it will get approved. If not,
Okay, so we need a motion for this as well.
I'll make a motion to approve and adopt the revised diversity and equity plan for increasing educator diversity with revisions to the Seymour policies.
Second.
Motion by Kristen, second by Kristen. Anything else on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0-0. And that leads us to item E, the Seymour Leader and Educator Evaluation and Support Plan.
okay, I'll very quickly sum this up. I want to say a big thank you, Mrs. Spike, did a lot of work on this, a lot of work, so did the committee. Also to the Connecticut Education Association, who provided free services, provided consulting with us. So that was good, but we also have to have some training to implement this. As submitted, it's right here saying it's been approved, approved, and approved. So I need your blessing just to approve the adopted and revised.
I'll make the motion to approve and adopt the revised 24-25 leader and educator evaluation and support plan for the Seymour Public Schools.
Second.
Motion by Kristen, second by, was that Ed?
Yeah.
Any other discussion on this? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 8-0. Item F, the policy committee has 3 new policies to adopt and update. The first one, item FA, is the Title IX sexual harassment policy.
I'd like to make a motion to accept and adopt the mandated Title IX sexual harassment policies as presented by Kate and the associated regulations provided by the board's attorney. And this includes policy 4000.1, 4200.1, and 5145.44.
Second the motion.
Motion by Kristen, second by Ed. This is an accept and adopt, so this would be 2/3 of the board, which is
Wording for the 2/3 majority is accepted.
Step on my thumb.
all right. So yeah, that'll be 6. Okay. Any discussion or questions on this one? Hearing none. Favor? Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0-0. Thank you. That packet is really thick. I don't have to go through that again. Whatever. All right, the next one, item FB.
Okay, I make a motion to accept and adopt the new policy of 3542.22.
Motion by Ed, have a second. Second. Virgo. Any discussion or questions? Same applies for this, 2/3 to adopt this meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 8-0-0. Item FC, another policy.
I'll make a motion to accept and adopt policy 3542.41.
Motion by Kristen, second.
Second.
Pete? Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? No abstentions, 800. Just want to thank the fellow members of my policy committee and Dr. Compton. That was a rough 3 weeks of going through that and dealing with Ed's best friend, Katie.
If I can.
Yeah, go ahead. I just want to say before you report.
No, I can just, whatever. During the meeting, I expressed my opinion, I'm very disappointed in the services we received from Kate. And as one of the area directors, I will make my discuss with the services provided at that meeting. I believe it's not true.
I don't want to come in and say the same of our lawyer. I mean, to get forwarded 10 different documents and not be told how to view them, even just to give you, hey, we recommend printing and reviewing in this order. So just getting 10 attachments, that was a little bit rough.
Yep.
So, and we pay them too.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I'd like to make a motion to add an item 8G. And that is to, I guess, approve the hire of Jody Germain as an instructional paraeducator at Bundy's.
We have a motion to add by Mrs. Berta. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. All those in favor? Opposed? Passes 800. So item 8G is the hiring of Jody, I don't remember her last name. Jermaine?
I'd just like to explain that Lauren did not send that till Friday evening. Jen was already done, has to be added under our new business. So that's what it was. All the credentials came in Paris. And we've got one other thing to add.
All right, any questions or anything on this?
I'll make the motion to accept the hiring of Jody Germain as an instructional paraeducator assigned to Bundy Elementary School.
Second.
Motion by Kristen, second by Kristen. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? In favor, yes? Opposed? Abstention? All right, passes 800. And we have something else to add?
Yes, we can do it at the very end of the meeting. We have a lady here tonight that is the coordinator of this Flagman program. It's something that we would like to pilot in the Seymour School District. She can present at the end. It's in your proposal. It's actually under the superintendent's report if you click on it. This is one of the things with all the many attachments that we have that we just left out. But she has a grant with the Honda Foundation, and so if you want her to discuss at the very end of the meeting, or she can discuss now. We're at the end,
Yeah,
basically.
let's add it.
Would you come up, Mrs. Baker, you want to introduce her?
I'll make a motion to add to the agenda item 8H, discussion and possible action on Flagman.
Second.
Motion by Stefan, second by Kristen. Berta. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstention? All right, come on up.
Fran Mako.
For the record, my name is Fran Baker. I used to be with AAA. I was community relations manager, but I retired and now I'm with an organization that's a nonprofit group, brand new, called Flagman. Our website is called and safety. It was developed 2 years ago, and I don't remember. Well, first let me tell you, the mission of flag waving is to create and create awareness to slow down the rover loss and to educate the public on the dangers that first responders face while working roadside. It was developed 2 years ago by a gal named Cindy Iadax. She lives in Honolulu. She's formerly of Fairfield. The Iadax family is a big towing company down in Fairfield County. Her brother Corey is a tow truck operator who got killed on the parkway by a speeding driver that failed to slow down in the road. And in their grief, the family is thinking something to try to make it positive. Last year, we pilot tested the curriculum in the Fairfield Public School System. She grew up there. She's now launching it in Hawaiian Islands, because that's where she lives. And the connection to Connecticut is that she wants to expand it here, and since I left AAA, I've been pointing her out. The program is interactive. The educational component is interactive, it's engaging, it's aimed at the different grades. It's a 30-minute presentation, and it draws upon community folks like police officers, firefighters, EMTs, tow truck drivers. We have a DOT worker who come and participate in the presentations. They're 30 minutes long. We came to Seymour for a couple of reasons. Chippies in Derby, it's a mowing company, Bobby Barbieri and his son RJ. RJ's kids go to Seymour and they spoke highly of the school system. The second person I happened to run into, talk about serendipity, is a fellow named Michael Rosen. I sold him my son's bike and one thing led to another, and he spoke highly of the Seymour public school system. And the third reason is because Dr. Tompkins actually picked up the phone and talked to me. I mean, you guys actually talked to me. I mean, I was going down the list of school districts, and I couldn't get any response from anybody. So this year we're expanding the program because we're going to the school district because CD has earned a $50,000 grant from Honda. And because we're just a very, very new group, it's pretty hard to get grants. Last year we got a grant from the Connecticut DOT. So that's done. This year, you know, if we get more grants, we will continue expanding in Connecticut, but it's one step at a time. So go to our website, flagmansafety.com. I have some handouts. Everything is in that packet. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
And we also sent this to our chief of police, felt that was crucial in regards to get his support. I also see First Life Woman, and his emphasis was, don't just teach the little kids, it's the high school level drivers. As I said, Dr. Compton, focus on the high school kids too. So it was really good for.
So one of the reasons why she does
felt
grade
about the
school,
program.
one of the reasons why she does the grade school is she's teaching the kids to be active passengers. And to start young, and by the time they get to be drivers, hopefully they have a flavor for what slow down and roller means. And again, the high schools. Driving schools, they touch on slow down and roller. They don't focus on it. So, I mean, Cindy is very passionate about this. She's like a bulldog. I don't know where she gets the energy from, but I just happened to answer the phone when I was at AAA, when she was asking who could help her out, and I kind of got sucked in since I retired. So, I hope you guys will attend the presentations. We encourage you to do it. They are kind of fun, and there's a link on the package, on the proposal that will give you a flavor for what the presentations we have. If you have any questions, questions that you wouldn't have to be answered.
Our director of security and is going to help.
That's right.
He's basically going to be the person that's going to be over this, and we're going to work with our chief of police and also the fire chief, just in support with all of this. So I think it's really good. I'm glad that she's interested in sponsoring this. I think it's a win-win. Thank you very much.
I actually have a police officer who called me, I think his name is Mike, Tim Martin, I think it's the community relations person. He wants to be part of it. There's an EMT, Seymour EMT named Andrew Tisdale, which kind of blew my mind because he was quite familiar with Corey. He said, I worked in Deerfield at the time, and I was responding to EMT on that crash. I know exactly what happened. So I still have to
Love him too.
you know him.
I don't know him.
Okay, and I need to talk to fire, I need to get firefighters to participate, so I mean, that's all down the road. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and I'm glad we've answered the phone. Thank you.
It's amazing how nobody answers the phone anymore.
Yeah. We're going to support you.
It's a very nice thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing it, but we don't do anything.
And just as a quick aside, they do in elementary schools because of how the country introduced seatbelts. And it's been proven that it was the young kids that got the parents to wear the seatbelts. So,
Yeah, I totally get it. I can see a little kid yelling at the
Oh,
police
yeah.
move over.
Oh,
We are heading into the home stretch. So item 9 is information from the department heads and coordinators, hiring, volunteers, transfers, retirement, resignation. Any questions?
It's all summer.
I have a question concerning the retirement of the high school principal with the date of January 31st, 2025. One of them start the process before we will have to.
Discuss that now, or I'll just say, I would just like to compliment the outstanding job that Mr. Floyd has done for Seymour High School. He started in the early 2000s, I'm not sure if it was around 2004, in April Derby. He held the position of assistant principal for many years, and then he was appointed as, hired as principal of Seymour High School. It was very difficult for him in turning in his resignation letter. I had teared up. I teared up as well. We've really become a really good team, especially since the board office moved there in that second wing. So I just want to say a lot of his initiatives, he's always been dedicated. He's always been at functions. He's always cared about Seymour High School. I think a lot of good accomplishments have happened during his reign as principal. Recognized again as the top 100 in Connecticut, but specifically was very proud when we received the bronze award for Connecticut Scholars. We had 43 scholars this past year, so that was just a big accomplishment. But during his time, I think this is a celebration for his contributions that he's made in his dedication. About the process, this now we received the resignation. Next thing will be this posting, we'll see that definitely sometime at the end of October, and start the process. So October, we'll put it out there. And as I always say, the process it's very important process, like I said, we need in January. It's a difficult time in the middle of the year when someone goes out. level well roads, incorporating the straight set. We plan on doing there would be a committee, just like we did on this. Process worked well here with the hiring of the middle school. Same similar process.
Well, the only reason I ask that is this is within the school year, per se.
Yes, it's very difficult in those.
Right. I'm both ways, both sides. I'm one person coming and leading the right district, or something moving up, because then there's the old domino effect.
And I'm not saying to be a good teacher, I'm curious to know if other districts, or if you have experience doing an interim building administrator position. I mean, like I said, I'm not advocating for it, I'm just curious.
Yes, sometimes it's done many times, whether it's principal or assistant principal, then an interim is appointed because it's a situation where it's very
That's right.
difficult in the middle of the year, because you have people evaluated. It complicates things, but it can be worked out. And many times in the interim, some capacity with the principal assistant is sometimes appointed as the interim. And it's a better way to finish up times because then we love start when we love. Kudos for the great job and dedication. Just want to say that.
All right, any other questions on the informational section? All right, item 10, board comments, superintendent report, chairman comments. Welcome, Pete. I don't have much really to say. Glad to have you back, and Shannon, glad to have you still at the table. That's pretty much it. Getting past that hour, so I will start. Now, listen, Kristen, nothing, Ed,
I'm good.
Congratulations to Shannon on her tenure on the board and in her new role, and I'm excited to be working with you.
I would just echo the same congratulations.
Pete, got anything to say?
No, it's good to be back. Hope that I can make the contributions as I felt I have in the past. And the kids are always first in my mind, and we're always keeping the taxpayers in mind as far as our taxpayers. I look forward to contributing to it.
Thanks, everyone, and then last but not least, Dr. County.
Yes, I'm going to be very brief. I'd just like to mention, we do have next week coming up with their Meet the Teachers Night. It's always a big thing over the next 2 weeks. I'll be sending out those reminders for you as well. I plan on being at all of them as much as possible. I think it's time to just be able to meet and maybe do a little session for parents, but we'll talk more about that. I really want to say that the Seymour Day on that Sunday evening turned out to be a great success for Select Woman with their school teams and all the collaboration. It was a really good evening. It was well attended. It started out kids circulating, and then the greatest part of all was when the kids came out on the field. And then the final thing, that all got in the circle, and this was representing all of our fall sports students. And they were excited, their families were excited, little kids were excited. They got excited about the bonfire and then also the fireworks. So it was really a very nice evening. I also want to mention Thursday, Mitch Lori, something that personally worked on, but I know this is dear to your heart. You had a vision for the buddy bench. And the 12 different locations, I made it all except Chatfield Park and Chatfield Preston School. But we've done a lot of Facebook postings as well. Just a really good way to celebrate what a buddy bench is and find it from. And the kids, everybody's already using them. We've got 2 at Bundy School. We have 1 at Chatfield. We have 1 at the middle school.
with 1 year of basketball courts. So,
Thank you for a job well done, and that's all I have to say, is thank you for that, and we're going to be.
Madam First Select, when you suffered through a board of ed meeting, do you have anything? No?
That's separate.
No. All right, with that, would you guys like to do this?